My hyperfixation at the minute is Pokemon, and I decided why not try and do something new and collect as many Scizor cards as I can within 1 week. But first, let me explain why Scizor. I've been playing Pokemon since I was a child. My first console ever was a Game Boy Color that I still have to this day. Look how happy I am to have that Game Boy, I'm practically screaming. And then I got a Game Boy Advance, in which I played one of my first Pokemon games ever, Pokemon Fire Red. Something about these games altered my brain chemistry. I literally couldn't put it down. I had to 110% everything. All I can remember about my first team was that I had a Scizor. That guy was like a brother to me. I took him with me everywhere. Not long later, it's 2006, and now everyone's excited for the DS.
Well, the wait is over. This is Nintendo DS.
Time to play the game.
But me, I was waiting. I'm waiting for a new Pokemon game. By this point, I'd already played through Emerald, Fire Red, and I'd even got my hands on a copy of Pokemon Blue, and I'd played these games hundreds of times. Every time I wanted to restart, I'd go straight to the PC, boot it up, and then I'd release all my Pokemon, just because I thought it would be better to free them than leave them in there. Then it finally arrived, September 28th, 2006. Pokemon Pearl and Diamond were finally released in Japan. I was ecstatic, I couldn't wait for it to come to the UK. I was determined to be the bestest, goodest boy ever for my mum, and come December 25th, 2007, she got me and my brother a DS and a copy of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I played the life out of this game. To this day, the Sinnoh region is by far my most played and favourite Pokemon region. I love the world, the starters, the music, everything about this just felt like Pokemon to me, and I loved it. At the same time, the Diamond and Pearl anime was airing, and I finally realised that the anime featured characters, Pokemon and gym leaders and locations, just like in the game. I don't know why that took me so long to piece together, it's a little embarrassing. I also had Piplup as my first starter, like Dawn. I did everything in these games, even more so now that my brother had a copy and trading became a viable option. Now for all the young people, this is pre-internet in my house, and my mum was only just about to buy our first computer. So all my information came from my own experiences, my friends, and the anime. Completing the Pokédex wasn't even an option. Even if a friend told me how to evolve Electabuzz, how would I know where to find the item? Now let's finally talk about my love for Scizor and how this video has come to be. Shiny Pokemon are a rare phenomenon, with the odds of finding one being only 1 in 8,192. I was familiar with shiny Pokemon already, as seeing some of my school friends have a whole team of stacked Pokemon legendaries was easily the coolest thing to 7-year-old me, despite their method of maybe obtaining them. But that alone sparked a longing for my own ultra cool shiny Pokemon, and that night I was determined to find one for myself. And who should I look for other than Scizor? I spent weeks looking for that shiny Scizor. I'd come home from school and run around in the grass hunting for hours. We had finally got a computer in my home, so now I was able to check the internet. I came across them forums that would spread misinformation, and I'd read and convinced myself that by leaving my DS on, it would improve my chances of finding a shiny. So foolish me would leave my DS on all night and charge it constantly while I'm at school, until I could come home and continue the search for hours, progressing none of the game until I'd finally caught that Scizor. Safe to say this was not working, and the day that I came home and found out that my mum had unplugged my DS and it was dead, my life was finished. I was devastated. I probably cried. All my progress was eradicated right before my eyes, and I didn't even know any better. I won't ever play this game again. But I can't quit. I need it. I must have it. I pushed onwards, hunting relentlessly, until finally I achieved my dream. I had caught my first ever shiny Scizor. In that moment, I was happier than when I first got the game. I'd probably screamed the house down. The Pokemon franchise had won. I was now a devoted supporter, determined to never let this memory fade, etching it into my mind forever. I can imagine myself in a care home, telling the employees, "Come here, boy. Let me tell you about the time I got a shiny Scizor." I was ecstatic, saving my game for the first time in weeks. I didn't even trust my brother to do this trade. I took his DS, stole his medal coat, and evolved my Scizor, and there he was in all his glory. He was perfect. Scizor then became my most prized possession. I showed it to my mum, I showed it to my friends, I showed it to my nan, I showed it to everybody. He was mine and mine alone. I took him to get his massages, I got him to get his footprint checked, I fed him a million poffins, I even took him to get his daily ribbons in Sunnyshore's City. I took him to the Game Boy, to the DS, to my Pokewalker I used to take to school, which I still have to this day. All the way to the 3DS, and now finally on the Switch, where he waits in Pokemon Violet for the next installment. Since that day, Scizor has become my favourite Pokemon, and nothing could ever top that. Every game I try and catch a new one. I literally spent 3 days hunting an Alpha Scyther in Pokemon Arceus, getting level 10 on the Pokédex, and even getting the shiny charm just to increase my chances. The idea of a Scyther that was triple the size, what couldn't I love about that? That Scyther then became Meruem, and he also lives in Violet, waiting for the next game. And now finally, my piece de resistance, my shiny Scizor from Pokemon Colosseum. A little over a year ago, I found this amazing YouTube video by SirToastToes, which I'll link in the description, in which he ribbon masters a Scizor. This video instantly inspired me to do the same. I couldn't just let someone else have a better Scizor than me. That's impossible. I have to have the best Scizor. A friend of mine loved everything Pokemon, and he already told me he had the game and the e-reader cards. After begging to let me borrow it, he finally caved and I began my journey. Getting to the part where I could use the e-reader, I began the hunt. 1,000 encounters, 2,000 encounters, 4,000 encounters. I'm old by this point. I have a job and a life, and I can't just dedicate time to this like I could when I was 7. Although 7-year-old me would be disgusted with my lack of dedication to abandon my responsibilities for some pixels. But still, I knew it was only time before I got it. Then finally, 5,958 encounters later, I found the shiny Scizor. I was so excited when I found him, just like all those years ago with my Scyther and Pearl. This meant everything to me. Purifying my Shadow Scizor, I got arguably the coolest ribbon a Pokemon can have, the Triumphant ribbon. Then another, the Earth ribbon, and another, and another. Tetsu went from Colosseum, to the Game Boy, to the DS, crushing every gym leader and champion in his path, all the way up to now where he's made his way to Pokemon Violet and stands at the top of my Scizor hierarchy. His back aches from the a million ribbons I've pinned to him. Although they're probably like magnets, since he's steel. Now back to the card part of this video. I knew I needed a binder, and I found this lovely artist on Instagram, Hannah, who I commissioned immediately to paint a binder for me. I couldn't be happier. Hannah did an amazing job, and this was definitely the best way to start this challenge. Being a Scizor fan, naturally, I already had a few cards, starting with the Undaunted Scizor, which I pulled myself and kept in my pocket at school, so it might be a little... Oh, look at that. My Scizor EX from Breakpoint that my brother gifted to me, the Holo Scizor from Neo Discovery, the first ever Scizor card, and my favourite Scizor card of all time, the Hidden Fate Scizor, putting our starting total at 4 out of 37 cards. I want to collect as many cards as I can in person, so my first stop was the Card Show UK. There was a crazy amount of cards here to go through, and for my first card show I knew I'd be here for hours. On top of Scizor cards, I also kept my eye out for cards for future projects, which you'll see throughout the video. Let me know if you can figure out the next theme in the comments. I really didn't expect to find as many Scizors as I did. My girlfriend and I had a great time rummaging through every vendor's binder. Me looking for my steel bug, and her looking for anything cute. 3 hours later, Scizor got his revenge for all those ribbons as our backs were broken from leaning over tables all day. My wallet was empty, but I still emerged victorious, filling up my binder.
Tag us on Instagram.
Even finding extra cards I wanted. But as for Scizors, I managed to snag a total of 16 new cards.
Off.
I didn't expect any eBay orders to arrive, and at the beginning of the challenge I'd already ordered one card that might not make it in time, so my next stop had to be Whatnot. I spent the next few days doom scrolling my way through different streams, and I managed to find 6 new Scizor cards. With 2 days left, I decided to check my local card shops, praying they would have anything for my collection, and luckily I managed to find 2 cards. A Black Star promo and a recent release, an SV promo. I couldn't believe my luck, as these two I kept my eye out for at that card show and I couldn't find them anywhere, pushing us up now to 28 with just 9 cards still avoiding me. The final day arrives and I know it's over. But is it? The doorbell rings. I open it and there it is, the one card that I ordered, the one from eBay. It's finally arrived. The legendary McDonald's promo. At the start of this challenge, I didn't even know this card existed till I'd done some research, but I knew I had to have it and ordered it straight away. I also got this card along with it, but I'm not sure it counts to the total, so we'll just consider it a bonus point. And finally, the big reveal of the binder. Off camera, I've secretly been working on making a Scizor themed Michi Method binder. All the art I managed to find from Pinterest, so credit to those artists. I think it came out pretty well to honour my Scizor collection. As you can see, I also ordered a few Scizor themed sleeves and packs to display alongside the cards, and even left some space for future ones. In the end, I managed to get 29 out of 37 Scizor cards, leaving the Holo Aquapolis, Bugsy Scizor, Rocket Scizor EX, the Unseen Forces Scizor EX, both Celestial Storm Scizors, and the elusive Hollow Stormfront Scizor that I could not find for the life of me. And with the day ending, the challenge is now complete. With the challenge over, I don't feel upset that I couldn't complete it. In fact, I wasn't sure it was even possible to get this many Scizor cards as I did. Even with the 4 I originally had. I'm actually happy with the outcome. I got to do something completely new to me. This challenge took me out of my comfort zone. I got to relive a bit of my childhood, commission an artist, connect with my local community, meet people at my local card shops, make and edit this video, and experienced my first card show and introduced my girlfriend into the hobby. She bought more cards than I did at that card show, but it opened the door to us doing something new and fun together. We've even opened some packs recently, and even though we didn't pull anything, this whole experience couldn't have been better. By having 9 cards still left out there, and the possibility of a new Scizor in every release, I know that the journey continues. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it's inspired you to do something new for the first time like me. Subscribe and maybe I'll make more. Take care.
One more adventure, one more new friend, but there's much more excitement waiting just round the bend.